Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about kids and a narcissist. Me in particular, I never wanted children. I've never wanted them. I knew that I was just not the type of person that would have been happier having kids. I don't consider myself selfish. And it's not that I don't think I would have made a good mother. I just really felt like my life wouldn't have been enhanced by them. I think it would have, I felt like it would have been bad for me. You read, there's some groups on Facebook that are dedicated to a whole group of people that wish they never had kids. And sometimes I've chimed into that and I've read the comments, and that would have been me. I would have been one of those people that just hated my daily life having kids in it. And I knew that about myself very well, to know not to have them. I don't think it's just not for everybody, and everyone kind of wants you to because they got joy out of it and they want everyone else to feel that joy. But if you're not the type of person that can have kids and get joy from it and just get depression out of it, allow a person to know themselves well enough to not have kids for that reason. And that was my story kind of why I didn't want kids. And even now, I'm in my 40s. Even now, when I think, I have zero regrets. And if I'm around kids that are not my nieces or nephews, I don't last very long. I just want out of those situations, no matter, who the kids are, or even if they're well behaved. My fuse is very short, I don't get angry, but I just don't want to be around them. So, anyway, that was me to talk more about the narcissists with their kids, not me. Sorry, I kind of went off there, but, me and my husband, my narc husband, that was one of the things that we had in common. We both didn't want kids. Now, those were my reasons for not having kids, but for him, of course he's, vegan, trying to save the earth and resources, and it's all about conserving and things like that. So he the way he originally kind of put it was, it'd be better for him not to have kids because then it would be good for the earth, and like he's taking this very big righteous step, not having kids, and he's almost looking for fuel from everybody for taking this selfless act to save the earth by not having kids, which, at the time it was very convincing. And he would come up with these stats, about how much water you could save by doing different things every day, and all of that just gets so it's so monumental compared to even if you have one kid, because the amount of resources raising one child with all the food and the water it takes to make that food, and then the waste that they produce and all the the resources. There's no such thing as being frugal enough with resources on your own. If you have kids, it all scratches that out, and you're detrimental to the earth, and everyone. So he would come up with all this stuff, and everyone like almost praised him for him saying he doesn't want kids because of that. But if I say have kids, because I'm like, my nature is not one that is, I'm not going to be a better person having kids. Well, and then I got looked at for like my reason wasn't good, but his reason was. But his reason was fake. His reason for that, he doesn't really care about the earth and by all that as that much. He more or less cares about how other people see him, the way he cares about it, just like the same way with animals. He poses himself as this huge animal lover, but I don't see him really loving animals that much. I saw him with a lot of animals, and he liked the fact the way other people looked at him loving at animals more than he loved animals. You know what I mean? Like and I'll give you guys lots of examples of those in other videos about him and animals. But let's try to focus on just the kids for this video. There was this one time someone asked him if he would like to have kids, and we were at his his school for fitness and things like that, and he talked a lot about how he wished he started like his fitness training when he was a lot younger, because he would be, that much better with his training if he started young, like really young. And when someone asked him if he wanted kids, he's, most people would always answer, yeah, I love kids, I can't wait to have my own, But his response for this particular person he was asking, his response was, it would be nice to have kids, that way I could start training them really young and document it for YouTube, and it would be, they would be superhuman, healthy and fit and stuff. And, I thought that answer was odd at the time even. Who wants kids for that reason? That's not a reason. You don't have kids because, they would make a great tool for you to exploit and make you a bigger YouTube star. But that was his response to this person. And he said it completely very rash. Of course this is a good answer. And the thing is, I think it was actually the truth. He would want a kid to raise on YouTube for the YouTube views, and he would get praise for being such a great dad, the way he's raising it in fitness and health and vegan. But everyone's kind of forgetting the part, he's not having kids because he actually wants them to love them and, be a father to them. He wants it for a different reason. And that's what, that was actually a little bit of his true nature as a narcissist, when he had answered that, person for if he ever wanted to have kids, and for everyone else, he said he wasn't going to have kids for those reasons. So his reasonings that he gives for people are always going to be the means to the end of him getting fuel from it. Now, whether the way people are looking and praising him for the way he thinks and the things that he says, it's like secondary fuel source, because I was his main supply, right? I'm the one who didn't want to have children with him, and I would reinforce that and praise him for that, and because we were in this together, and so I'm the fuel source in that regard for him not having kids. Now, when he tells these stories to everybody else about saving the earth and not having kids to save the earth, or not having kids, or he doesn't want kids, but if he did, it would be great for this. These are he's doing all this for secondary fuel source, whether he gets praised for it or not. That's what it is. And, I've listened to other talks on YouTube about the real dangers of a narcissist actually having kids, and looking back at my narc and other narcissists, it is unbelievably dangerous for a narcissistic person to have children. And because there are, I'm doing this as a YouTube channel as someone who is post narcissistic abuse from a covert narcissist. But there's a lot of channels out there for people that have mothers or fathers who are the narcissists, and the abuse they suffered in their childhood, after being raised by a narcissist, because those people are survivors as well, having to survive things like that. I heard an example once of, I forget if it was a little boy or a little girl. They had a birthday party, and I think they were 9. And it was a great party. They had, clowns with balloons, and she, had a big barbecue, and it was a great thing with all her friends. And she said it was the best birthday, kid could have. But after it was done, the mom would ask him, did you have a good birthday? And, the kid said, yes, it was the best birthday ever. He's like, good, because, mom's going to have to work double shifts for the next 2 weeks to pay for it, because it costs a lot of money, this one. So I'm glad that you had fun. That sticks with a kid. All of a sudden this poor kid feels bad for having a good birthday. Now, everyone who went to the birthday, all the parents, all that, they all saw everything the mother did. Oh my God, the most amazing mother ever. But yet they'll make the kid feel bad for doing something so good. That's an example of a narcissistic parent. And for the child, it's really damaging. Your mom loves you, but only when other people are really watching, and then she's going to make you feel bad that she loves you almost, So narcissistic abuse is abuse. Doesn't matter if you're the child, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the parent. It's all so bad. So if a narcissist has a child, like, that child's going to be destroyed in one way or another almost, and they're going to have to do a lot of work in their adulthood to overcome the abuse they endured from a narcissist. So I hope my narc doesn't have kids with his new supply, because I can already see the exploitation that child would go through. And also it would be like the beginning of the end for any relationship, because his girlfriend, or if he marries her, the wife, would be rendered useless to him, because the fuel source, it got dissipated so badly to go into the kids. So he would be left with like half a fuel source, and that's not going to do, is it? And he'll end up probably having to leave because he needs more fuel than she could provide. Now that there's kids around, there's just not enough to go around, is there? So you can almost foresee things like that happening if he were to have kids. It would be a disaster. I mean, like, kind of like these slow train wrecks, Even if he tries to exploit the kid for as much as he can, I don't think there's any survival in that. But it's I'm glad I didn't have kids with him. I don't think I would have ever allowed myself to, for my own reasons, and that's a really good thing. Because I was like right at childbearing age, when we were dating and together, and we came close. Like we thought we might adopt and things like that, but there was just like, he was always so busy doing other things that were very unimportant, but only had the means to make him more YouTube famous type thing. So it was one of those things that when I got discarded, I did feel, long after, I should say, not right when I got discarded, but long after, like a year or so after, I was so glad that I never had kids with him, because if I had had a kid, he would have discarded me regardless, and I would not only be in this situation that I am now after the discard, I would be in this situation with a young child, and that would be the worst, because he wouldn't care about me or the kid. He would be gone, with his new supply, and I would be just in that much more trouble. Like, so these relationships are incredibly dangerous, especially if you bring kids into them, and I'm trying to be thankful for my discard at this point, and especially my discard and not having kids with him, because as bad as this is, it could have been so much worse. Because he's left the country, he's gone. Like, he would have like been one of those people that completely went off the grid and never gave me a dime forever. It would have been so much worse if I had had kids with him. And no narcissist should have kids. It's just one of those people, like, we're trying to eradicate this disorder, and it's not going to get eradicated if they're allowed to have kids. I know that sounds really bad, but if you know a narcissist and have seen what they're like with their children, you would understand a little bit better. So, and I know a lot of you people out there, and I'd love to hear your comments. Because I never had kids with my narc, but I know a lot of other people are, and you guys are really hurting. We're empaths. We feel everything. So and I feel that way for people I have not even met that had kids with their narcissist and they got abandoned and discarded. And it's really a very, very hard thing to get over. And I just wanted to give you guys my take on my view of a narcissist who has kids and how dangerous it is. And if you're one of those people out there, I hope you subscribe and join this channel and join this tribe and help us all heal together post narcissist. Thanks for watching and listening, guys.